All right. Shalom, shalom. Keepers of sheep back on the highways and byways, prophesying downfall of America, aka Babylon the Great. We are the Hebrew Israelites prophesying to the Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, before we begin, we'd like to first start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, and Shalom to hopefully elect. Shalom. All right, today's camp title will be Summer Draweth Nigh. Right, and I got this title through the Spirit of Power, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, coming from Matthew 24, Matthew 24 and 32. If I'll read it real quick, because basically, because as the seasons change, all right, the spiritual seasons change, all right. So not only on a physical level, because like right now we're in a new year or whatever, all right. You got your new life in the earth, all right. As far as the plants, even some of the what's like the hibernation season, all right. You got things being born, all right. You got men being born, all right. And not on a carnal level, but on a spiritual level, you got men being born, all right. So I'm gonna grab this real quick just to further prove that. It says Matthew 24 and 32, and it reads, "Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh." All right, so we know summer is nigh, and summer is referring to what? The day of the Most High, the day of the Lord, right? The return of the Son, Yahweh Shai, and that day is not gonna be. It's not gonna be a day everybody look forward to, but ultimately the elect is looking forward to that day. All right, in the world, all right, when summer come around, people looking forward to what? The late nights, all right, the loose clothes, the vacations, all right, the kids out of school, but ultimately the elect is looking for what? Salvation. All right, we looking for heavenly bodies, all right, heavenly heart and a mind, right? We looking for new life, man. All right, but again, on a carnal sense, the world is looking for what? To live on in wickedness, right? Brother, got something?
Yeah, right here, basically, how it's saying Matthew 24, right? How the brother said, when we see this, we know in summer meaning, that return, how about Yahweh Shai, that time coming, right? And that's why Yahweh Shai said to Matthew 16, right? He said, I started verse 1, he said, the Pharisees also, the Sadducees came and to desire him that he should show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said to them, when it is evening, he said, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but ye cannot discern the signs of times. So as prophecy comes to pass, right, these things coming to pass, we starting to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like brothers saying, we spiritually seeing the season change, right? We spiritually seeing brothers being woken up, brothers being sifted out. We seeing all these things is coming, right? And these things gonna come to pass. Even prophecy going on, with Trump office doing all these things and that nature, things going on. Us having the spirit, the ones who want to know, we can see these things spiritually, to see these times come to pass, right? These seasons changing. But saying y'all see, it's spring now, I get to put on this, put on that. Shoot, we seeing this. It's summer coming out. We trying to put on that whole armor. We help out Yahweh Shai. We ain't worried about no new clothes. We ain't worried about none of that other stuff, right? We learn about getting getting closer to Yahweh Shai, right? Because even and we'll go back Matthew 24, even as it said, right? So likewise, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors, right? See, the door is what? That door to get to Yahweh Shai, but you only can come through Yahweh Shai. So when his return comes, if you ain't out here doing the righteous work, doing the righteous thing, and these things coming to pass, and you still out here moving like that old man, he ain't put off that old man yet. Hey, he told you, man, I come, my reward is with me to every one of his work, paraphrasing, right? And then also Luke 13, right? What he said, you feel me? Hey, when the master closed that door up. You know what I'm saying? These times coming to pass, right? That door's slowly closing, man. You know what I'm saying? When seasons change and things of that nature, all these things coming to pass, man, you gotta be spiritual minded. You gotta see it, right? Because when that door closes up, it ain't gonna be no, I ain't understand. What he say, man? You can look at the sky and see the weather, but you can't see these things coming to pass and understand it. But
I'm gonna read this right quick, just because you brought up, how we must go through Yahweh Shai, man. So you can't come up another way. Right? the scriptures tell you, the same as a thief and a robber, man. Because people, people they try to, especially people who say I'm spiritual. They're like, I don't believe in this, but I believe in spirituality. Like they trying to come into this thing of their own selves. That's the only way you can get into what people call heaven. You know what I'm saying? The kingdom of heaven. That's the only way you can get into it. You have to come through Yahweh. You can't get to the Father by yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's why you pray Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the Father Bahashim in the name, Yahweh Shai the Son, right? You have to come in the name of Yahweh Shai because He's the only one that can get to Him, right? You the things that you've done in this lifetime, your works, you know what I'm saying, the wickedness that you have committed, you're too filthy to get into the presence of the Father, right? That's why you must go through Yahweh Shai. That's the whole point, right? That's the whole reason he did what He did for us. This is John 10, and I started 6. Well, I just 7 stretch of point. It says, "Then said Yahushua, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep." Right. So you have to go through Yahushua, right? You know, the sheep is who? Israel, right? He's the door, right? You must walk through that door because again, you try to go around the gate, you try to go some other way, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna make it through, right? Verse 8, it says, "All that ever came before me, that came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in, shall go in and out and find pasture." Right. So that's the only way. You must go through that door. Right. That's the only way you're gonna find that that peace. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you're gonna find that safety, that shelter. Right. That's the only way that you're gonna get saved. Right. Because it says and find pasture. Right. Now, and speaking of a sheep, a pasture. That's green grass. That's heavenly to a sheep. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way we can receive that through Yahweh.
Like you said, dealing with the names, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, being that Yahweh Shai, meaning that, He saves, He delivers. So, like you said, if you coming through Him, obviously you coming to be saved, you coming to be delivered, right? And I was just gonna say, going back dealing with the seasons, like going back to the title at hand, dealing with summer drawing out. You gotta understand these the prophecies are just like the seasons. Okay, of course, winter is cold. All right, for cold, it's springtime. It started to heat up. So these prophecies are just like the seasons. You may have a cold season in prophecy, and you're gonna have a summertime prophecy, meaning it's gonna be on fire. All right, meaning the MOB could come tomorrow, Jacob Trouble could come tomorrow, and when it comes, it's gonna be hot. All right, then it'll die back down, or then it'll heat back up. Right? The Lord deals with a balance. The Lord is unpredictable. It wouldn't be prophecy if we could say, okay, well, this will happen tomorrow, and this will happen on Tuesday, and this will happen on the 14th.
Come up, just a quick precept again, talking about that door. When this precept came to me when, he was reading, right? And he said, "No man come to that door, but, through you, how about you outside," right? It was Revelations 3, and that would start at verse 20, right? He says, "Behold, I stand at the door," right? So what is that door, right? That door is our minds, right? Stand at our minds, right? He says, and knock, right? How does he knock? Giving us this knowledge of truth, giving us this understanding, right? Revelations, right? I don't want to quote it wrong. Revelations 12 and 11. Yeah, we over. So like I read it real fast. Revelations 12 and 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, by the word of their testimony. They loved not their lives unto death. Right? What is that testimony? Right? That testimony is the spirit of prophecy, understanding the seasons, understanding these times come to pass. Right? But He give us that knowledge to understand these things by what? Through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, that comforted, right? Not in our mind, giving us this understanding of this truth, right? But going back to Revelation 3 to keep reading on, right? It says, "If any man hear my voice and open the door," right? So, us hearing His voice is what? Through these scriptures, man, right? What He say? He says, "I will come to him and I will sup with him and he with me," right? That sup, meaning, the short word for supper. The truth like unto a meal, man. In Ezekiel, right? He say you gotta eat the whole roll, right? So we gotta eat the whole roll. We gotta get this whole knowledge, right? So we don't be hypocrites and not be able to discern the time, be able to discern the things when things are changing. You know what I'm saying? So we can withstand the seasons too, right? Because hey, when it get cold, right? Is you gonna be able to withstand? Is you gonna be able to keep going? Is you gonna be able to strive, right? You know what I'm saying? And when you see prophecies coming to pass, right? A lot of hypocrites, man. Brothers can have this knowledge, and when things going good, they in the world. They move around the world and things of that nature. But as soon as they start seeing, like, oh, I remember one of the, I watched the video and when the elder said this, oh boy, things getting deeper. Hell nah, man. When it's cold, you still gotta be hot. And when it's hot, you still gotta stay on fire, man. You gotta keep going through all the tribulation and afflictions that come with this thing, man. You can't be in and out of it, right? Because, hey, once again, you know, he said he come with this reward, man. It's according to your works, according to what you do, right? And we know Yahweh Shah judgments are righteous, so you can't be mad when he come, right? And you try to get in that door, you know, like even Matthew 24 talk about it, like the days of Noah, man. You come knocking on that, and you ain't gonna be no getting in, because you playing around with it, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, things looking good, sunny, sun out. You know what I'm saying? You out and about, right? As soon as things get a little hard, rain fall down. Now you trying to return back. Now you trying to get in because you done seen that before. You done heard the elders talk about this before. Nah, man, it ain't that, man. You gotta stay in it, because once he give you this truth and this knowledge, it's for us to stir up. It's for us to get out here on these highways and byways and give warning, right? It's a warning, because why? We see these times. See, most people ain't gonna see it yet, but that's why he got his watchmen. He got his servants, you know, his prophets, the elders, teachers, things going back through the spirit. How about Shah? The elders and prophets, the elders and apostles, GMS, man, 100% true. We out here on the highways and byways giving out this warning, because people don't see these things, right? We talking about something right now in a carnal sense, right? Look at all these people out here walking around, strollers, everybody happy, holly jolly, right? But they don't even understand the prophecies coming to pass. Why? They don't got their spirit. You know, they don't got to understand to see these things. They can't discern the times, right? They thinking it's just good times.
I was gonna read this just because you have brought up a quick point. This is Psalm 9 and 16. It says, "The Lord is known by the judgment which He executed. The wicked is snared in the work of His hands." Right? Haggai and Salah. Right. So I only brought this out because, like you said, man, when you go through things, you gotta understand. This is all of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? This is a trial. This is a test run. You know what I'm saying? You gotta prove yourself to the Most High, because you're not proven yet, right? You know what I'm saying? You can easily go off at any point in time, right? You gotta understand the things that come to you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, these are tests, right? You must be. That's why the scriptures tell you must be a soldier, right? You must be a good soldier, right? A soldier's gonna do what? You know what I'm saying? In the face of war, a soldier's adversity is gonna be, you know, constantly surrounding you. You know, you might be seeing somebody get blown up this way. Your best buddy might have got shot. You know what I'm saying? 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? You gotta keep on pushing, because there's a goal in hand. That's the same thing, right? You know what I'm saying? There might be bumps in the road, so you might lose your job. You might have lost your car. You might have lost your job. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? You gotta keep pushing, because that's proving yourself. Like we was talking about right before the count, right? With the accounts of Job. Job went through hell and high water. You know what I'm saying? He went through everything, but guess what? He had his mind on one thing, and that's pleasing Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So you must be the same way, because what? He repaid Job, you know what I'm saying, doublefold, tenfold, right? And that's the same thing that's going to happen to you. Like you brought out earlier, the reward is with Yahweh Shah, man. You know, he going to bring his reward with him. And you don't think it's worth it to endure, you know what I'm saying, whatever you may have to endure here, you know what I'm saying? Of course, it may be hard, but that's the point, you know what I'm saying? If you know, how that saying go? Anything worth having isn't easy to attain. You know what I'm saying? If it's easy, if it was easy to do, everybody would do it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not how it works. You gotta work hard for Yahweh Hashem. It's not something to be taken lightly.
That goes to, you know, I said the list of this, the elders and apostles, elder apostle Gahar, elder apostle Gabar, elder apostle Gahar was talking about this, man. You know, being able to set the bitterness in this truth, man. A lot of brothers don't be able to set the bitterness in this truth, man. When John his encounter with the angel, he was telling him, you know, he ate the book, and when he ate it, you know, his mouth was like honey, but when he swallowed it, it was bitter in his stomach, man. People don't be able to set the bitterness in this truth, man. Being able to set the things that come with it, right? They think it's gonna be holly jolly, think it's gonna be happy, right? Because shoot, it do get a little, you know what I'm saying? But you got that faith, but it do get a little like, damn, like, man, we seeing this thing going on, and I'm seeing my people still just going around like nothing happened, but they don't understand it, right? So it comes to where you gotta separate yourself. You gotta start hanging around brothers in the spirit, so that way y'all can keep strengthening each other, right? You gotta separate from family, friends, all that nature, you know. It's a lot of that come with it, man, you know. But brothers don't be willing to make that sacrifice, man. That's why it says in Romans, man, we gotta be that living sacrifice, man. We gotta give it up, man. We gotta let everything go and just come to this truth holy, man. You know what I'm saying? Come to this truth by on this truth. You had said it good one time, you know, it stuck with me, like, you know what I'm saying? If we that bride in the marriage, right? We don't want no woman who out here laying down with everybody, everything else. Yahweh Shai don't want no, he don't want nobody dealing with all these other doctors, all these other ways, all these other things going on, man. We gotta be focused on our marriage right here with Yahweh Shai. Focus solely on this, man. Focus righteously on this. Be locked in on this, right? Same way you be locked in on your woman, trying to get your woman right, make sure they got everything. We gotta be doing that same thing in the truth, doing the will, doing the works that Yahweh Shai tell us to do, man. You know?
Like you said, when you really think about it, going to that bride, you know what I'm saying? Everything is a different way of life, you know what I'm saying? Any way that's not of the ways of Yahweh Shem Shah is a different life. Not just philosophies, not just theories, not just religion. You know what I'm saying? Anything. When you love your woman more than you love Yahweh Shah, that's an idol. You love your car, your house, money, clothes, whatever. When you love these things and you put these things before Yahweh Shem Shah, that's your idol. You worshiping that thing. You know what I'm saying? That also goes into that spiritual fornication, man. So it's anything. Don't think, I call on the names of Yahweh Shem Shah, I'm not fornicating. No, it's anything. If you put anything above, you know what I'm saying, the Most High, you fornicating, man. You know what I'm saying? You laying in bed with other things. You laying in bed with things that you shouldn't have no part of. Did you have something on that point?
No, you should.
Just bouncing off of a point that you made, you know, how people, again, you got to be able to take, you know what I'm saying, rebuke, chastening, all these things. When you put it at a lower state, you gotta learn to take that, right? You have to learn to endure through those things, and in honesty, you know what I'm saying, that's really the better way to be, right? Because you shouldn't be around here, especially in this place, Babylon. You shouldn't be constantly happy. You know what I'm saying? You should be constantly vexed, right? You should look around and see a bunch of vexations, right? You should be constantly pondering, you know what I'm saying, the ways of Yahweh Shem Shah, and seeing how this world that we live in, this nation, this, you know, whatever the hell you want to call it, this kingdom that we're living in is completely contrary, right? But this is Ecclesiastes 7:2, right? It says, "It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart," right? So it says that's the end of all men. When you around here all happy and jolly, going all these different places, you know what I'm saying, exploring and going out to eat, which I mean we all do, but when that's all your life consists of, all you want to do is find a way to be happy, and you never think about Yahweh Shem Shah. You never think about I need to do a lesson before I do this, or you just gotta. Like we were saying before, count again. It's a balance, right? You can do certain things, but you gotta put other things first, right?
Real quick.
You got
Because it's a spirit. Because I was meditating on this last night. I was asking myself like, damn, do you really want things to get better? You like you said, we go through life. We set goals for ourselves. We want certain things, but you be like, damn, do you really want that? Like, is that really what you want? And in reality, it's not what you want. Because when you get to certain levels, you like you say, you start doing certain things. And these things distract you from the truth, or make you comfortable. It may make you forget that you really in captivity, that you really in hell. Like,
Cause the scriptures tell you, it's a small thing for the Most High to give you some increase.
Right?
But you have to be able to balance it all. You know what I'm saying? Because like say you get a brand new car. Okay, cool. You got a brand new car. There's no sin in that. But is that taking up all your time? Now is that all you worry about? Now you going on joyrides. You know what I'm saying? When you could be doing lessons. It's all a balance. You got to be able to enjoy things. Like you got to think about it, right? In the situation with King Solomon. King Solomon had everything. He had wisdom. He had riches. You know what I'm saying? If it was such a sin to to have things, the Most High wouldn't have gave him that. But it's not. But you just got to make sure you have a balance, right? You have to seek Yahweh Shem Shah first, and then these things will be given to you.
Quick precept. Proverbs 30:9, and it reads, it says, "At least I be." I might wrong 8 verses. Proverbs 30 and I started 8, and it reads, "Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee, and say, Who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of my power in vain."
Like even a point on that, I remember a while ago. That's one of my favorite scriptures because a while ago when I was in school, I was in school and I was getting back right in the truth, and Apostle Kabar had brought that out. And then, he was talking about it, in the Lord's Prayer, the daily bread. right? You know, like brother saying, having that balance, right? That's why we don't pray for the riches. We don't pray for all these things. We don't pray to get too low. We just pray for what's convenient for us, man. So we can stay balanced in this thing, right? So we can, you know, through the spirit of Habashiach shot. We understand that as long as we pray, do the will, do the work, He gonna provide us what we need. He gonna provide us what we want. That's why it says pray without ceasing, man. You know, people get hard and try to take everything into their own hand. You know, rent get bad or things get hard, you know, in the household wise, people start to go on their own account, do their own thing. But we know the men going to the Lord, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to the Lord when things get hard, not when shit, you can't, and this thing too though, shit can't get hard, then He put you in a position, then you just go right back into what you was doing. Like you gotta pray without ceasing. I mean, don't stop. Even when the shit get good, even when the shit seem good, right? Even when He get you out of that situation that you in, you gotta continue to go on, right? Because if not, you're gonna fall right back down and go what you gonna do? Try to run back to Him. You know what I'm saying? He merciful, right? But at the same time, He's not dealing with that iniquity. He's not dealing with that foolishness, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be consistent in this thing. That was a precept, but I got one as well, right? I was watching the Elders Apostle Tar Gabar lesson, right? And it was going into Revelation 11, right? He went up to verse 1, right? And I remember I was at work watching. I ended up doing a lesson on, you know, talking about the temples, right? You know, and I remember Elder Apostle Ramallah had did a lesson. They was talking about the red Hefner. These people down here, these new people was talking about the red Hefner was going into building the third temple, but that's foolishness, right? We know that the third temple, we are that temple that's being built, that spiritual temple that's being built, right? So this Revelation 11, right? At verse 1, it says, that was giving me a reed, right? So in the ancient time, a reed was like a measuring stick, right? He said, they was giving me a reed like unto a rod. And the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of Yahweh and the altar and them that worship, right? So that reed is Bible, man. You know, the brothers, you know, as we talk about, we gotta measure ourselves through these scriptures, man. You know what I'm saying? We can't get unfocused. We can't start thinking, oh, I gotta go do that, I gotta go do that. And we gotta stay in these scriptures. As much as you buy these scriptures, you know, yeah, when you increase wisdom, you're gonna increase sorrow for sure. But at the same time, when you increase wisdom, you get more light, man. You're gonna be able to understand and deal with more things that's coming your way. You know, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, right? When you put your trust in Him, put your trust in His word, His truth, right? Guess what's gonna happen? He's gonna direct every step you need to go, right? You know, where the wind blow up, you don't know. Where the spirit goes, that's the same thing with the wind, right? The Most High gonna lead you wherever you need to go, man. You just gotta measure yourself through these scriptures. You gotta measure yourself with this knowledge, right? You can't be trying to measure yourself by how much money you got, how you gonna pay the bills next week, none of that thing. As long as you in this truth and this word, I promise you, man, Yahweh gonna provide for what you need. Because if you're going through something, the Most High is putting you through that. He testing you, man. He said what you gonna do, right? We just read Proverbs 30, verse 8, right? Verse 8 and 9, right? So what if I give him this? What if he get too high? Is he not gonna listen to me no more? Is he gonna stop doing the scriptures? Is he gonna stop coming to camp? Is he gonna stop doing his lesson? Is he always out of town? He always busy? Or what if I put him too low? Now is he finna go back out there in the streets? Or he finna go stealing? He finna go robbing people? What is he gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta measure yourself through the scriptures and how that faith, man. That's all goes to faith and fearing Yahweh Shah. Understand that He has the ultimate power, man. Yahweh has the ultimate power. He gonna direct and push everything, even with these prophecies, right? We gotta understand when He promises everything. He controlling everything, man. You know what I'm saying? He gives authority to Yahweh Shah to control everything down here, right? You know, Yahweh Shah said in Revelation 1:18. Right, when Yahweh Shah bring that judgment, He bring these things when things get hard. That's why He said, you know, pray to me and I will ask the Father, right? So that comfort upon you when you pray to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, right? Things will come your way, but people don't pray. I don't do none of that. I don't pray. I don't do none of these things. You definitely don't have the fear or the faith of Yahweh Shah. So your life be bumpy. You be up and down. You don't be consistent though. You be having that bumpy road. You know what I'm saying? But we know in this election, that bumpy road is part of it. Y'all got a bumpy road just because y'all make yourself describe in a kingdom that's not yours, right? That's why that shit be so hard for you. You don't see Esau going in and out. Esau be a crackhead for 20 years. That's the thing though. You see him at a plant, a corporate job, change his whole life. You know what I'm saying? You see Jake can't do that because this ain't our kingdom, man. This ain't set for you, man. It ain't gonna be no good in it. Yeah, you got some Jakes who down there got it good, I guess you can say, but them Jakes gone, man. Look what them Jakes had to do to get that money, man. You know, and they getting exposed for that daily. But
this is Romans 12 and 16. It says, be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits, man. So again, mind not the high things, man. Especially, you know what I'm saying, the materials of life, you know what I'm saying? Because it don't matter. You got, I mean, Yahweh Shah told us constantly, you know what I'm saying, these things they're gonna be destroyed. They're gonna when Martha and and rust doth corrupt. Right? These things are going to be destroyed. That's a part of that incorruptible crown, right? Not the incorruptible crown. That's a part of the corruptible crown, right? You gonna have people, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna praise you for that. They're gonna be like, oh, he got this, he got that. Cool, but guess what? In that day, right, where the earth is going, where America is gonna burn it with fervent heat. You know what I'm saying? All that shit gonna be burnt up and melted away. And then what? Right? Like the scriptures tell you, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna cast gold and silver into the streets. But it's not gonna do nothing for them. You know what I'm saying? Because in that day, the only thing that's gonna help you is the works that you did, right? The things that you did for Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So it says condescend to men of low estate. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, you know, be up. Like you said, we know it's about ups and downs, but you gotta stay level. You gotta stay stable. Right? You gotta stay again, keep it at a low estate. You know, you gotta be chill. Don't be trying to crash out because I lost this house, I lost this car, I did this, I did that, and now you want to curse. Now you want to curse the Most High. No, man. You know, have the spirit of Job. You gotta understand this is what comes with it. You just must endure, right? Because the same, you gotta endure to the end. The same what you say.
And it's crazy. That's crazy you said it, but just last night, like I'm just thinking the last night, all right. People still got that why me spirit.
Yeah.
Why me? Why it happened to me?
What was me?
Yeah, why was me? You feel me? But then when you come to the truth, you get to understand, like, come on, man, you know, your house shot laid. Come on, man. I think your house shot walking around like, why I gotta die? These people around me, I'm the one putting them on the truth. Why one of them can't die? Like, come on, man. You gotta think, man. Come on, man. You gotta be that living sacrifice, man.
This is a precept. This is Isaiah 45 and 9. It says, "Woe to him that striveth with his maker," right? And that means that's that why me thing. You know, you question him. You trying to figure out why he doing it? Why this happened to me? Why it gotta be me? Why it can't be him? Why I can't have this? Why I can't have that? You know what I'm saying? You striving with your maker. It say, "Let the potsherds strive with the potsherds of the earth." Right, so you know, I can talk to the man, but you can't come to the Lord like that. Right? It says, "Shall the clay say unto him that fashioneth it, What makest thou? Or thy work hath he no hands? Woe unto him that saith unto his father, What begettest thou? Or to the woman, What hast thou brought forth?" Right? I'll read this verse. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, and his Maker, ask me of things to come concerning my sons, and concerning the work of my hands command ye me. I have made the earth and created man upon it. I, even my hands, have stretched out the heavens, and all their hosts have I commanded." Right? But the point is, the point being, you know what I'm saying? You can't question what's he created you. So how can you question why this or why that? Why did he do this or why did he do that? That's, you know, this is the Most High movie, which the other Apostle Gabar always said. You know, this is Yahweh's movie. You know what I'm saying? We all we actors in it. You know what I'm saying? You just better be glad that you got the part that you got, right? And that's being a prophet, right? As being a teacher of the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
And see, real quick, Jake don't understand. Once you like brother was going through before, like once you get this truth, you get the why. You get to understand why this and why that, because understand a lot of things you may not get right now, but eventually like, okay, that's why that had to happen, or that's why that had to happen. But you know, the Most High, he not everything. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's like everything connects. Everything has this happened had to happen so this could happen. That had to happen so this could happen. You know what I'm saying? You was born. You know what I'm saying? Like everything from the top. That's why I say the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. From the time you was born, you was born and you was adopted, or you was orphanage off, or you feel me? You had a hard life, or you feel me? You was born to a white family and you found this truth. Blah 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 blah. Whatever it may be, it happened so you can get this truth, or so you can whatever.
I got a good precept. Right? It's 1 Thessalonians 5, starting verse 17. It says, "Pray without ceasing." Man, right? You know how you be watching movies and they be shooting out, and they be like, "Cease fire." I mean, stop. So we gotta pray without stopping, man. Pray without ceasing, man. Right? It says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of Yahweh and Mashiach Yahweh concerning you." The same thing the brother just said. You feel me? You gotta understand. You know what I'm saying? This the will of Yahweh what he said for you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. Like brother brought out earlier, when you brought to the Lord's day, you gotta accept that, but you gotta take it cheerfully. right? Because like you said, like I also said earlier, it ain't nothing for the Most High to increase you, man. So therefore, if you question, oh man, why I'm going through that? Come on, what you think the Most High? He can't give you nothing more, right? Because if he can't handle this, why would I give them more? Right? And if you think, and that's another thing too, if you think you come to the truth and the more you're going to receive is riches, fame, glory, and shit like that, then you confused anyway. You already confused, man.
Coming into this for the wrong reason.
You see what I'm saying? You into it for the wrong reasons, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? That when he increase you, increase that knowledge, increase your, you know what I'm saying? He increase the things to allow you to be able to increase your spirit more to allow you to understand more for you know, your purpose, right? What you set here to do, not what you want to do. That's the thing people don't go. You got to give up your way. Now, your way is not the way of how about you outside, right? You got to put precept while I think about it. You got something? Isaiah 55. Isaiah 55, verse 8 and 9, right? It says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, said the Lord Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts, man." So therefore, man, you don't need to question him, man. He in the heavens, he's seeing it all, he's controlling it all, man. So whatever you're going through, you need to pray without ceasing, right? You know what I'm saying? Understand that what you're facing is the will of Yahweh Shah, and he's going to put you through as long as you put your trust and faith in him. I got another piece I was going to bring up earlier, but then got Matthew 12, right? It kind of goes with what we were talking about earlier, right? When I was talking about Yahweh Shah, right? We're talking about, you know, basically, you know, we ain't trying to get in this truth for no reputation. We ain't trying to get in this truth for no fame, no glory, things like that. Because we know Yahweh Shah made himself with no reputation, right? So in Matthew 12, now start verse 15 says, "But when Yahweh Shah knew it, he withdrew himself from thence, and great multitudes followed him. He healed them all." Right? So he want to destroy him, but you ain't say he healed them all. So he doing marvelous and he doing marvelous works, man. You know what I'm saying? He doing great things. The Willie, how about Shah? They want to destroy him, right? He said and charged them that they should not make him known, so he ain't want no reputation, right? We ain't getting this truth to try to get on no interview, no attitude, no things of that nature, because we don't want reputation, man. You know what I'm saying? Through the spirit, how about Shah? The elect gonna know it, and the men gonna understand who we are. But you know, we also gonna be hated by many for his name's sake, right? But at the same time, we ain't making ourselves with no reputation, right? He said that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Esaias, Isaiah the prophet, saying. This is the breakdown that the Ramla did on the Apostle Ramla did on Isaiah 42, right? Because it says right here, right? It says, "Behold, my servant, whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I'll put my spirit upon him. He shall show judgment to the Gentiles," talking about Yahweh Shah, right? Because at one point, all of us was lost, right? All of us was in that Gentile state of mind. But when Yahweh Shah brought that light to us, he brought that the understanding of this 100% truth through the will of Yahweh Shah, right? They brought us back to the light. That made us focus again, made us return back. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said, "The ones who believe on me, believe not only on me, but believe on him who sent me also." But that's also why he said, if they don't believe in me, they don't believe in the one who sent me. Because the ones who believe, we believed in Yahweh Shah. We understood that the Father sent his Son and likeness to him through the Spirit of Yahweh Shah. We understand these things, right? But the point I was trying to get to, it said, "He shall not scribe nor cry, you shall any man hear his voice in the streets." Once again, he didn't want to make himself a reputation. You want to go around like, "Oh yeah, you ain't see me make the blind dude see again. You ain't see me bring dude up. Oh, yeah, you ain't see me. That was me. I did that." I was trying to separate yourself from them, man. That's we gotta understand, man. You know, we ain't making ourselves from no reputation out here, man. It's gonna be hard. For this truth, we'll go down to the bottom for it. But we also know, what we say in Sirach chapter 2, man. You know, in our later days, we're gonna be increased, man. We're gonna be raised up when we get to that kingdom.
I had a precept. I was looking for this before you brought that out, but I couldn't find it further. But this is really just going into, again, you know what I'm saying, with the, you know, with the increase, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. Yeah, I just wanted to read this because I like this one scripture, but it is a little lengthy. But Sirach 11 and 18, right? And again, this just goes into that what I read earlier about, you know what I'm saying, condescending to a lower state, man. Mind not the high things. Verse 18, it says, "There is that waxes rich by his weariness and pinching, and this is his portion of his reward." So it's saying there are people, you know what I'm saying, who may have a bit of increase by, you know what I'm saying, worrying about everything and, you know what I'm saying, pinching, you know, things of that nature when it comes to money, right? Verse 19, it says, "Whereas he saith, I have found rest and will now eat continually of my goods," right? So this, you know what I'm saying, that, and we know not to think, you know what I'm saying, that you have found rest. Well, wow, we know this is not our rest, right? So to continue on, it says, and yet he knoweth not what time shall come upon him, and that he must leave those things to others and die. Right. So when you worried about gaining things in this world, you worried about gaining all the material things and things of that nature. You're not understanding you could die the very next day. Hell, the next hour. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand these things, and so you really working up nothing. You know what I'm saying? There is no reward in that. You go to work, you do all these things, you want to save up and all this, and now you think you're good. The very day that you may buy that brand new truck, you're gonna die the next day. You ain't gonna be able to enjoy it, right? You know what I'm saying? So verse 20, well, I skip to I'll skip to 24. It says, again, say not, I have enough and possess many things, and what evil shall I have hereafter? In the day of prosperity there is a forgetfulness of affliction. In the day of affliction there is no more remembrance of prosperity. For it is an easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways, man. So again, you know, when you're gonna be at a higher state, you know what I'm saying, it's easy to forget, you know what I'm saying, when you was low. When you at low, it's easy to forget when you was high. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be rewarded for the things that you commit in this life. You know, whether you put all your efforts into material things in this life, or if you put all your efforts into serving your house, right? But
What is it? What you reading?
Shirek 11.
Okay.
Verse 27, it says, the affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure, and in his end his deeds shall be discovered. Right? And doesn't it say the Lord's going to destroy this place in an hour? So Esau, even, you know what I'm saying, when they get destroyed for that hour, you know what I'm saying, they gonna forget all those good things they had, and it's gonna be over for Esau. Even, you know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna know nothing but pain. You know what I'm saying? That's all they're gonna know. Right? His deeds shall be discovered. That was that point.
I got a little bit precept on that top of Ecclesiastes 7, right? And it said, surely the oppression maketh a wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart, right? So a gift destroyeth the heart, man. You know, once again, that's really precept to Proverbs, 30, right? 38 and 8. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get too high. You ain't gonna want to do that no more, right? You know, I remember I was thinking Apostle Harvard, he was reading this, right? And he was talking about how brothers get too highly, get too, you know what I'm saying, get rich, things of that nature, right? You know what I'm saying? And now it's time to come to camp. Instead of him coming to camp, I'm gonna send a few $100, few $1,000. You know, I gotta go to Jamaica, my iPad, something like that. You know, how should I say, man? I'm Elder Pastor Hart said, so I'm gonna take the money. So I'm gonna take the money because I'm gonna tell him, man, most high said let the dead bury the dead, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the point. You know, it was funny we said it, but it's the point of like being people get like that, man. You know what I'm saying? People let money rule everything, right? That's another reason why our nation going between the youngest growing up, because men don't be a real tutor to each other and let money run them, right? I ain't gonna get my kid this week, but I'll hey, here's some something. It happened in all ways, and you see it. That's why it's consistent. Our nation be held down, man. It's consistent. We do the consistent things for our nation to be looking dumb, man. You know, and that's why when you get this knowledge, right, you be able to see these things from outside in. See people make it look good. Oh, why you hate that man? He's sending you money, or he giving you money. He giving you money. It's all about money. Even with the women today, it's all about money, man. That's what they love. It's all about the money, right?
Money is the root of all evil. At the end of the day, we know this is where it all comes from. You know what I'm saying? Just the love of money. You know what I'm saying? Because like women. You know what I'm saying? It really like the scriptures say, through you we all sin, right? So it's really those women, but women love what? Money. You know, so what did that make a man love? Money. You know what I'm saying? That's just the mindset of Jake. You know what I'm saying? Jake always wants the most expensive thing, right? They want the expensive clothes, name brand, all this. Which again, you know what I'm saying? You can have these things, but it's a balance. You understand? You can't let that control you, right? If you let it control you, it's gonna become your master. And off that point, Luke 16 and 13. It says, no servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High and Mammon, man. So you can't do it. It's impossible. You can't love, you know what I'm saying, money, material things, and then turn around and say you love the Most High. It's not gonna happen because they're contrary one to the other. The same with the spirit of the flesh. Right? Your flesh gonna constantly want to, feel good. You're constantly your spirit, your flesh gonna constantly want pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Physical pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be, sexually, materially. You you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's all your flesh gonna want. You even gluttony. You know what I'm saying? Just eating all damn day, right? That's strictly your flesh, right? But when your spirit is gonna say it's gonna be contrary. Your spirit gonna say, I don't need to eat all that. I don't need to be with this woman. I don't need to buy this thing, right? They're contrary one to the other, man. So you cannot do both.
Quick preset to another point on that is like, you know, understand, right? They see these rappers, they see these drug dealers be famous, things of that nature. Like they be seeing they be having all this money and they be glorified, right? Because once again, the money is what's glorified. But you got to understand, you know, hey, spirits on the right hand side